Hello everybody and welcome to Rent a Girlfriend episode 2 anime review. In this episode we met Kazuya's ex a little bit more, and Kazuya, man, she's horrible. I'm sorry, she's terrible. I know it's only been one episode, but I hate her already. So that's a thing that happened. Also, more shenanigans with how Chizuru and Kazuya are connected, but mostly Kazuya's ex, not a fan of her. Not a fan of her at all. I got a feeling people are going to be a fan of her, and those people are going to be wrong. That's how it works. If you don't have my opinion, your opinion is wrong, definitely. No, that's not how opinions work. Anyway, let's jump into the episode and see how exactly it all went down and everything. Let's do this. We pick up where we left off at the end of last week's episode, with Kazuya seeing Chizuru at the college. You know, it's like, oh, that's her, that's the thing. However, he sort of plays it off to his friends and says basically, oh yeah, I mistook her for someone else, it's fine. Later on, she grabs him and drags him into an abandoned closet, which is just where you want to be. I was almost certain someone was going to walk in on them. Thankfully, it didn't happen. Basically says, don't say anything to anyone about anything, which, you know, that's fair enough. But then, you know, the gods have revealed, plot twist, she's actually also his neighbor. Like, not even like the same neighborhood, she's right next door to him. So, that's also a thing that happened, which is pretty crazy. And she basically tells him, you're not allowed to interact with me, you know? And it's like, oof, big hurt right there. Grandma calls Kazuya. She's been playing a mobile game, which is pretty funny. Like, she's like, I've been wailing. I'm like, that's a gacha game term. What the hell is Grandma? How much money has Grandma spent on like gacha games? Not good. That it's not a good thing to get into. You lose all your money. Trust me. Don't trust me. I'm a free to play. I don't play them. Damn. I mean, I play them, but I don't spend no money. It's gonna happen one day. Then I'll end up like Grandma. So that's the thing that's gonna happen. She wants to see Chizuru when she comes to visit. Fair enough. So Kazuya goes next door to beg Chizuru to come. Basically, please, I'm begging you. Because terms and conditions, basically, like, you got to do it a week in advance and everything. You can't do it in a private place. She whips out the terms and conditions document. She's got it in her room, I guess. So she's like, nope, can't do it. Don't bother me. Grandma shows up, and he entertains her for a bit and then goes to beg Chizuru again. She says also at one point, you should probably tell the truth at some point. He goes to beg again and gets kicked out of her room, metaphorically and literally. No, it's just literally. He gets literally kicked out of her room. That's a thing that happens. So he goes back to Grandma, he's preparing to tell her. She then thinks they broke up. She's like, you broke up, didn't you? And it's like, oof. Chizuru is on the other balcony with the windows open. She can overhear everything, basically, is what's going on. The Grandma is not mad at either of them because somebody liked Kazuya, and you know, he's Kazuya, and it's not a thing that's going to happen to many people. He's about to admit that everything was a lie and everything to her. But then who shows up? Chizuru shows up. She's got food and everything. There's hugs going around. They have a silent conversation, which is pretty funny. I liked the subtitles for the silent conversation. That was kind of good, and it was like, I'll pay you back later, basically. Then Grandma's like, come see me next Wednesday and everything. And what else was it? She guarantees they'll be married one day, and it's like, well, yeah, that's probably going to happen now, isn't it? Like, it's going to be completely not the way they expect it, but it's going to happen. It's going to definitely happen. He goes to give her money, and then she says, okay, 1 hour every Wednesday to go see your grandma. You can rent me, and we can go do that thing. So that's good. At least they've worked out an agreement, and that's how it's going to work. But she's like, don't talk to me any other time, which is a bit harsh, but I think slowly she's going to want to spend more time with him. I think that's the way that this show is going to be going. Now the second half of the episode is where things get juicy. We get more of an introduction to Kazuya's ex-girlfriend, Mami. We begin with him crying. He was crying, right? He wasn't doing anything else a bit naughty. He was sniffling, unless he was having a very sad, you know, under the covers. But no, I think he was crying this time. But he runs into her later on, like literally bumps into her, and is too stunned because she's like, oh, she's so perfect and everything. Too stunned to say anything to her. His friends are creeping as they do. You know what they're like. I don't feel like I need to say much more on his friends. And then later on, Mami's with her friends and they're sort of bad-mouthing Kazuya, and then she gives them this like yandere look, and it's like an "I will kill you if you keep bad-mouthing Kazuya" look. It's like, you just broke up with him. You don't have the right. You don't have the right to defend him. Is that how it works? That's what we're gonna choose. I'm gonna choose it. Kazuya was then later on, because he bumped into her. He was gonna have some alone time, I think is what we'll say. But then Chizuru comes because it's hospital visit day. So literally he's zipping up his pants as he comes to the door. Like, she knew, right? She knew what he was doing. Let's be real. So yeah, they go to see Grandma. We don't actually see much of them with Grandma. She just waves out of the window at them like, "Bye, Chizuru." Like, feels kind of bad that she's not neglecting, but she likes one of them more than the other, and it's not her grandson, I think is the way it's going. Then after, on their way back, they're holding hands and everything, as they do. And who spots them? It's the friends. It's Kazuya's friends and everything. They first think she's recruiting him to join a cult, because Kazuya can't be with a girl. That's ridiculous. But yeah, then he introduces her as his girlfriend and everything. She gives him a look before snapping into girlfriend mode, and it's pretty good. His friends are creeping as they do, and then they invite them drinking, and it's kind of funny because they're like looking at him and she's behind them like, "Absolutely not. I want to go home. No." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, we'll do it." Like, I'm like, you saw her. You made a conscious decision there, Kazuya, you awkward little fumbling mess. But yeah, that's what happens. They go to this restaurant. In the elevator, Kazuya tells her, basically, "This guy knows my nan." So, my grandma, sorry, I know the terms are all confused. "This guy knows my grandma. So if he finds out, then she's going to find out, which means your grandma will find out, which means we got to keep this up." And she's like, "Okay, I accept that, I guess." So yeah, they get to the restaurant. Who's at the restaurant party meeting? Mami's there as well. And she's part of the group. They got a big group there and everything. It's super awkward. It's like really awkward. Like, everyone's like talking, but they're like out of the corner of their eye, they're just looking at them like, "Oh, what's going on over there?" You know, oh. It's really awkward. You never want to be in that awkward. Like, I've been at like parties where it's that awkward because two people have recently broke up or whatever, and it is awkward for everyone, no matter what you do. And it's just like, oh god, don't make it awkward. Which, hey, you know, try. It helps you've got some people that can lighten the mood, and I think in my friend group, we've got that, so I think that's good. But yeah, then Mami says like, "Oh, you know, I'm over it," you know, which that's got to hurt Kazuya's pride, because although he's got a new girlfriend, and in the inverted commas, he is definitely not over it. Definitely not over her. He goes to the toilet, and while he's having a pee, little Kazuya starts rising, like the rising of the Kazuya hero. You get what I'm saying. If you don't understand all these euphemisms, not youth, that's where it's young. That's bad. Euphemisms, I don't know what to tell you, you know? Maybe, I don't know what to say. But yeah, that happens, and then when he gets back, Mami's moved to sit near Chizuru, like opposite them, so they can talk. And basically, she's smack talking him up to Chizuru. Like, "Hey Chizuru, this guy's alright." Basically calls him a horn dog, like he's horny all the time. Just like, everyone else has just stopped their conversation, is just like looking over like, what the hell's going on? Like, real dick move. Like, she's bad-mouthing him to the new girlfriend to try and get new girlfriend to split up with him. That's not cool. Why would you do that? You want to ruin Kazuya's life? That's not cool. Thankfully, Chizuru, act or no, defends him, and it's like, that's not cool. You can't be doing that, you know? Stick up for yourself, Kazuya. And Kazuya, of course, doesn't stick up for himself because he's a really, I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to like keep the peace. He doesn't want to start nothing. Kazuya, you damn stick up for yourself, son. Come on, grow a pair, as they say. And everything. Chizuru gets annoyed at his not defending himself and just storms off, leaves like, "I'm going home." It's like, you should probably walk her home. He doesn't do that, and then they enjoy the rest of their day and everything. Kazuya goes home at the end. Mami comes with him, following him as she does, and then invites him to her place. And I really can't put, what's she trying to do here? She was the one that split up with him. So why is she doing all this stuff, like inviting him to her place? If her new boyfriend's there and she's literally doing it to show off, then that's just an even bigger dick move. But what was with the yandere look earlier? Does she still like him actually? I don't get it. I don't get what she's up to. I'm not a fan of her. So, like, Chizuru is number 1 so far. But, yeah, Mami, want to know what you're up to, is basically what I'm thinking. Like, she's obviously up to something. Like, I don't think she's inviting him to her place out of the goodness of her heart. Let's just say that. Maybe they're going to do the naughty. And Kazuya's going to be like, can't do that. Gotta keep up the... Or maybe she's trying to trick him into cheating on Chizuru just because she thinks they're actually dating. And then just to split them up because she's a bitch. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think she just is going to make his life hell however possible. But then somehow we're going to turn it around so she still likes him. Like, I can sort of see it being a proper twisted sort of thing like that. Or she's just a bit of a attention whore. I'm using bad words for her. Watch her come back next week and be like, I have this tragic backstory, you know, and that's why I do all these things, and then he's gonna help her. Maybe, I don't know. It could go either way, any which way. I'm excited to see though. But anyway, that was the end of this week's episode. I'm enjoying this show. Like, maybe I shouldn't be. I'm enjoying it too much. It's your typical harem. It's seeming like it's gonna go the harem route anyway. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Such a Japanese concept. Like, it's not a thing like, oh, rental girlfriends wouldn't happen in a Western show at all, would it? Watch people be like, actually in this show, it's right there, and I'll be like, oh. But maybe that's why people don't like this show, is because it is such a uncommon thing in like the West. I'm interested all the time to see the differences and everything, and you can see it. It's good. I like how I'm making this sound like almost philosophical. It's not. It's trash, but it's good trash. I love my good trash. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing and stuff for more reviews. That would help me out a lot. Thank you very much. I will see you next week for another episode of this. Take care and bye, guys.